Let's begin by telling you that an oil tanker explosion that rocked Niger State on Saturday has left at least some 3 persons dead and several others injured. The incident, which occurred at Diko Junction around the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, left many burned to death beyond recognition. The premium motor spirit-laden tanker was said to have exploded when some residents of the area went to scoop its contents after an accident. The Niger State Governor, Umaru Bago, has expressed shock over the incident. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Baloge Ibrahim, said the Governor described the explosion as worrisome, heartbreaking, and unfortunate. Now, join us live to discuss this development is News Central correspondent Joshua Imarai and public affairs analyst Moses Idika. One welcome to you both, but let's start with Joshua. Joshua, what's the current number of fatalities and injured that we have, and how are authorities managing the care of the victims, and what's the latest development coming from this unfortunate accident? Yes. Okay, let's talk to Moses. We'll try and get Joshua back on the line. Now, Moses, this is one too many accidents that have happened in the past 1 year. Are there any ongoing efforts to control or mitigate environmental hazards? Very avoidable accidents such as this one we witnessed today.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Moses.
Good evening, Nigerians. My heart goes out to all the families of the victims of that tanker explosion in Niger State. But we keep going back to these issues, and they're indeed avoidable accidents because we cannot, because the situation is hard in the country, and then keeping our lives the way a lot of Nigerians have been doing lately. It's very, very unfortunate, and I think that National Orientation Agency and various state ministries of information and orientation should go back to the drawing board to see how they can educate our citizens about some of the dangers of this, because the dangers are in several folds. The danger to human life, of course, to the environment, and then the economic losses. So there are a plethora of issues: bad roads, bad driving habits, lack of safety precautions. So it's a very sad situation.
Now, Moses, still talking about this issue, are there any long-term policy measures being considered to prevent similar accidents? And do we need to, does the Ministry of National Orientation really need to talk to Nigeria about the dangers of scooping petroleum products? I mean, it's highly hazardous, and everyone should know that you're risking your life. What are the economic benefits? Is that what is driving them to take such decisions?
Well, a hungry man can hardly think right, because you look at it from the point of view that when a tanker falls and it spills its content on the road, what readily comes to mind of the people is that a liter of fuel is more than 1,000 naira. If they can scoop 10 liters, it means they have 10,000 naira. At that point, they are not even thinking about their own safety. But that's still, it goes back to the situation we have in the country, because there is no employed person. There is no one who has a business who will leave his business to go scooping fuel on the road, despite the dangers inherent in doing so. And when you talk about long-term measures too, well, there are several areas we can come from. If the roads are good, and then the tanker drivers themselves, they have to be reoriented to taking, driving safely. A lot of them drive through the night. They don't get enough sleep. Their mind is, okay, they want to arrive at Kaduna or wherever they are going to at a particular time, not minding the fact that they are also human. Their brains, their bodies need to rest. So if the companies themselves, the petroleum companies, they should also teach their drivers, they have to be measured that if you drive between this time and this time, you should rest. And then you mark it so that there will be a monetary system to ensure in the aviation industry, it's a benchmark. There are certain levels of stress you go through and you can't be allowed to fly. It's the same thing on the road. So both the regulatory agencies, National Registration Agency, while educating Nigerians, they should also let the employers of these tanker drivers to take serious safety measures, including, driving safely on our roads.
Thank you so much, Moses Idika. We'll get back to you shortly, but let's first touch base with our correspondent, Joshua Imarai. Good evening to you, Joshua. What's the current situation in Niger State following this very sad incident, and what's the update on the number of fatalities and injured?
Of Diko here in Niger State, it is a case of agony, pain, tears, disaster, sorrow for so many of them. What we see so far here is a completely destroyed area as a result of the tanker explosion that occurred earlier in the day. Well, on my right-hand side, beneath those things you see like mango trees are bodies of those who died as a result of this explosion. What we can confirm so far is that over 73 persons have died, while rescue effort is still ongoing to search and see if there are anyone who has been left behind. And 58 persons are currently in the hospital as we speak. And what we are seeing so far is that some of those shop owners who were here before, they are trying to gather as much as they can gather from the ruins of the explosion earlier. On my left-hand side are some of the shop owners. This place used to be where they sell diesel and gas and the likes of explosive liquid, but unfortunately, those shop is no more. Some people used to be shop owners here. Unfortunately, some of them lost their life as a result of this explosion while trying to scoop fuel from the tanker that exploded earlier.
Now, Joshua, I can see from the pictures in your background that there's still fire burning, that there's some fire still there. What's the current situation with rescue efforts? Have the men of the Federal Fire Service been there, and members of the National Emergency Management Authority? Why is there still a fire at this point?
From behind me, that tanker is what exploded earlier. It has been successfully doused by fire. Men from the fire department in the state were here, where they actually put down the fire from there. We saw a combined team of a combined rescue team earlier who gave us an update of what transpired here today. Based on what we gathered so far, they've combed the area to see if there are any more dead bodies that could be retrieved, or anybody who has been injured as a result of the explosion. But what I can confirm to you is that those people, they have been safely taken to the hospital. For those who still have their lives with them, they've been taken to the hospital. But those who lost their life, their bodies are under those branches of mango tree that you can see. What actually happened here is a sad tale. Many times they've told Nigerians not to scoop fuel from tankers who fell over. But unfortunately, today's case was an eye-opener. What happened here earlier was that this tanker was trying to navigate this road that is actually bumpy. In the process, the tanker actually tripped over, and the contents of the tanker was spilling over. I think the people who are in charge of this particular tanker got the hints of what was happening, then quickly brought a second tanker to transload the content of this particular tanker to the other tanker. They came with 2 generating sets. In the process, while they were trying to transload the content of this tanker to the other tanker, the thing exploded, and some people who were here trying to scoop fuel from the leaking content of this tanker actually got caught in the fire. I have an eyewitness who was there when everything transpired, and he's here to give us a brief his experience of what happened today. Good evening, sir. Tell us your name.
Yes, my name is Amin Ismail. I was coming back from Abuja this morning, around 8:30. So this tanker is about to go in. When he followed the one way, the road safety diverted him to follow the right way. As from there, the tanker just fell down. Yes, the tanker was just fell down. So they bring another vehicle to come and pack the fuel. From there, the fire just catch it. So those people that come to carry the fuel, they are among the people that die. I think there is so many people, including children and adult peoples and women. So I think there is some people in the hospital right now, Wuse and Suleja. And these kind of things, I think what is the cause due to the bad road that we have, especially from this Diko to Maji. So many cars, even yesterday we have the accidents in Maji, about 2 containers has been fall down. So we call the federal government to do something about it, because we have more than 5 months now. People have been dying, people have been injured, and sometimes if you are coming back from the Diko Junction to Maje, you spend more than 6-5 hours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So you heard from the man who was here when everything transpired. His eyes saw everything as it unfolded. And what went on today here is a sad tale for many Nigerians, and is a black Saturday for residents of Niger State.
Now, finally, before I let you go, Joshua, as the state governor, Governor Bago, visited Diko, and what's the official statement that has been released by the Niger State government? Have there also been other government officials that have visited the site of this explosion?
Well, based on if he has said anything, we've not heard. We don't know particularly if the governor was here. But while we were here, we saw the chairman of the local government area, of this local government area. He visited this place. And based on what he said earlier, he said plans are being made for those ones who died as a result of the explosion to be buried based on Muslim rites. And for those who are Christians, necessary arrangements will be made for them also.
Thank you so much, Joshua Imaraye, and also Moses Idika, who joined us from Abuja. Thank you.
Much.
Now, the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, has reportedly surged to between 1,050 naira and 1,150 naira per litre, depending on the location. This follows the recent hike in the cost of the commodity by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and various depot owners. Dealers confirmed that petrol prices are expected to continue to rise due to the sustained increase in the cost of crude oil, the major component in fuel production. On Friday, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery announced an upward adjustment in its PMS price, raising it from 899 naira per litre to 955 naira per litre at its loading gantry. Earlier, oil and gas analyst Judge Brown shared his thoughts on this development.
PMS is about 50% of the byproduct from a barrel of crude oil. And a barrel of crude oil is about 160 liters. That's what makes one barrel. So about half of that, 160 liters, gives you about 90 liters of PMS. 90 liters, that's just one product. It gives you about 90 liters. And if at the last price of 998 at the gantry of Dangote Refinery, at the gantry, by 90 liters, that gives you a total of 89,820 naira from only PMS that is produced from that one barrel of crude oil. It gives you 89,000 naira, 820. You also have the middle distillates like diesel, like jet fuel, and kerosene. And amongst these 3 other products, kerosene is the most expensive. Kerosene is about 2,000 naira a liter. So at the end of the day, we look at these 4 products, namely PMS, kerosene, that's household kerosene, Jet A1, which is the
aviation fuel,
kerosene, aviation fuel, and the diesel. Now, if you put all this together, excluding LPG, the total amount in naira in terms of one barrel that we're using as our basis and our benchmark for this calculation is around 60-something thousand naira.
Now, yeah, George,
and the margin is around 29,000 naira from each barrel. We've done this calculation. It's about 29,000 naira from a barrel when you produce only 4 products. That's what you get. So the other byproducts are also other streams of income from that barrel of.
You're watching News Central now. Coming up on the news, we will be looking at the Ondo State local government and councillorship elections. We'll bring you details of this and more when we return. You're welcome back. And now to politics. Saturday's local government elections in Ondo State was marred by low voter turnout and logistical challenges during the early stages of the exercise across most polling centres. According to election observers, the poll scheduled to run from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. did not commence in most polling units until around 10 a.m. in areas such as Ilutitu, Odeaye, Okitipupa, Ikoya, and Igbodigbo. Within Okitipupa local government area, polling centres were virtually empty as of 10:15 a.m. Reports indicate that officials of the Ondo State Independent Electoral Commission were seen idly waiting for voters who were noticeably absent. 12 political parties are contesting the elections for chairmanship and local and council position. Earlier, political analyst Tayo Oluyi joined us from Ondo State to discuss this.
So far, so good. For the first time, we're going to be rating the election on a scale of about 75 to 80% because the turnout is a little bit encouraging compared to what we've had over time in local government elections. This period, as you can see, as you're displaying on your screen, people came out in large numbers. And at least in the vicinity where I usually casted my vote, I can say, well, we recorded at least in a particular polling unit over 100 votes. You get me now, which is arguably one of the best in recent time compared to what we used to have over time, where you have complete voter party, nobody will come out at all. And despite the fact that the leading opposition political party boycotted the election, yet people still came out in large numbers. So it's quite impressive and quite encouraging compared to what we used to have before.
The People's Democratic Party and its candidate in the 2024 Edo governorship election, Asoye Godalo, began their case on Friday at the Election Petition Tribunal, presenting critical documents to substantiate allegations of rigging. Ighodalo informed the tribunal that the election was plagued by widespread irregularities, challenging the Independent National Electoral Commission's declaration of the All Progressives candidate Monday Okpebholo as the winner. He argued that he secured the highest valid votes in the elections and questioned INEC's decision, citing non-compliance with the Electoral Act of 2022. During the hearing, the petitioner's lead counsel, Adetunji Oyeyipo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, submitted a certified true copy of Form EC8E, the INEC final declaration result sheet, as evidence supporting the petition. The tribunal, chaired by Justice Wilfred Pochi, provisionally admitted all submitted documents as exhibits. The hearing continues on Saturday, with the petitioners expected to present additional evidence as they seek to overturn the election result. The Labour Party in Nasarawa State has reaffirmed its full support for National Chairman Julius Abure, aiming to take the party to greater heights. The state chapter also congratulated Abure on his recent victory at the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which validated the party's March 2024 National Convention in Anambra and confirmed his leadership. The judgment delivered by Justice Hama Barka relied on a previous ruling in November 2024 in a case involving the Labour Party and the Independent National Electoral Commission State Chairman Alexander Ombugu. Praised the court's decision, calling it a testament to Nigeria's legal system and the party's commitment to democratic principles. He urged aggrieved members to resolve differences amicably to ensure the party's success in the 2027 elections. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU Taraba State University Chapter, has called off its strike, which began on the 5th of December 2024. In a statement released on Saturday in Jalingo and signed by the union's chairperson, Dr. Garba Joshua, the strike was attributed to the state government's partial implementation of agreements concerning university funding, payment of earned academic allowances, and minimum wage adjustments. Joshua thanked Governor Agbo Kefas for his leadership and intervention in resolving the issues, as well as the Ministry of Tertiary Education and the public for their support. The state government has pledged to address the union's concerns, committing to disburse 10% of the earned academic allowance arrears, with payments set to commence in February 2025. Meanwhile, the university's second semester examinations are scheduled, to resume in the coming days. The Inspector General of Police, Kade Egbetokun, has approved the distribution of new kits and uniforms to personnel of the Nigerian Police Force as part of efforts to improve officers' welfare and enhance professionalism. The initiative, announced by the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi on Saturday, aligned with Egbetokun's vision to improve working conditions and raise professional standards within the force. Egbetokun also expressed optimism that the approval of the 2025 budget will facilitate more welfare-focused projects to further support officers. The Nigerian Police Force says it remains committed to maintaining a well-equipped and motivated workforce to ensure the safety and security of all Nigerians. The National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has sealed the pharmacy in Abuja for selling expired and unregistered drugs. The action followed a tip-off from a concerned citizen prompting an enforcement operation on Onisha Crescent, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. During the raid, NAFDAC officials uncovered expired products worth over 7 million naira, including handful H. pylori test kits. The pharmacy's managing director and superintendent pharmacists have been arrested for questioning. NAFDAC has assured that stringent sanctions will be imposed to deter such practices. The agency urges the public to stay vigilant when purchasing regulated products and report any suspicious activity to local NAFDAC offices. The World Bank Country Director for Nigeria, Ndiame Diop, has called on stakeholders to put all hands on deck in ensuring the effects of climate change are reduced to its barest minimum. He also said in the Plateau State capital during the disbursements of the Community Revolving Fund initiative by the World Bank through its agro-climatic resilience and semi-arid landscapes to empower selected communities in the state. News Central's Chizoba Anionwe completes the report.
The global effect of climate change is the major reason behind this World Bank intervention launched here on the plateau to reduce poverty level as well as improve agriculture and environment, among others. For the 10 groups that will receive $25,000 each from this intervention of non-interest rate loan of $250,000 in Plateau State, a word, they say, is enough for the wise.
This financial support is specifically targeted toward AgriSold registered community interest groups, CIGs, across the state in targeted watershed.
Beyond just implementing projects, we want to see how these investments will work towards uplifting our people out of poverty.
As a parliament, we will offer ourselves as free agents to oversee or to oversight your activities to ensure that the effort of the governor and the World Bank is not wasted.
It's a very well-planned project designed to help protect the environment and also also strengthen the capacity of the vulnerable communities to be able to respond to climate change shocks that we have seen.
However, sustainability and maintenance of this initiative remain a challenge to a total of 140 benefiting communities spread across the 3 senatorial zones in the state.
Everything about this, about AcroSal, is going to be transparent, and we'll make sure that food is available in our communities through this program.
My responsibility is to monitor and continue to educate the people and let them know that this is a loan, it's not a free money, it's not a grant. And so by using it maximally, that is how it's going to benefit every one of us.
High point of the event was the commissioning and distribution of 20 tractors to benefiting communities to improve agricultural activities in the state. In Jos Plateau State for News Central, I am Chizoba Anyui.
A young Marjorie boy from Borno State, Suleiman Adam, known as Abba Kaka, has turned his life around with a simple display of his creative talent after developing a detailed artistic replica of the recently inaugurated overhead bridge. His work went viral thanks to a report by News Central. This remarkable story has led to life-changing opportunities for the young, talented African boy. News Central's Umaru Kirawa has been following up with the Young Boys Initiative. Completes the report.
Exactly 6 days after the report of the young African talent, Abba Kaka Adam, the Borno State government has stepped in.
The Zulum administration has always prioritized the education of the less privileged child. You could clearly see that this is a child with a very high IQ, extremely intelligent boy. So I have decided that as part of the component of innovation in our ministry where we harness talents, I am going to enroll him back in a regular school so that he will have a proper education background so that eventually we could have an architect in him. I have spoken to the commandant of the command school here in Maiduguri to enroll him on state scholarship. So he's going to be sponsored free and would follow up. As he spends the first 3 years, we'll enroll him into a proper technical school where he would realize his dream of being an architect.
We moved to Command Science Secondary School, Auno, where the young Abba Kaka was admitted on a full scholarship, supported with books, uniforms, sandals, mattress, among others, to ensure he receives a quality education.
In this
school, we have over 300 students brought in by the state government. So, as you can see, you have entered our classes and you have seen, and we hope that what we are doing is going to be appreciated and will be supported.
Abba Kaka's parents were also provided with financial aid of 250,000 naira for the upkeep of the boy and to improve their living standards.
Alhamdulillah askrinya ala rangala ala nera mukwara sir ala kijira sir askrinya ala tara yin kuma wanti so ngala ala kijin tamayo
ala gumnati ya kamande ala ba hafsu kuma asin da baraza askrinya uduna yin gana na yin ba udebura dai gumnati no yin gozuna alhamdulillah ni jeri dama kirawa ni ma dem lem fanni so room fanni so ko to so gonum dai isum so do ham dai isa akira wa is huwono dai askrinya ala kamande ala yin mu kwaza kamande askrinya wallahi tara yin
These are some of the drawings made by Abba Kaka during his leisure time.
Umaru Kirawa has helped us by making sure that he connects the family of this boy and the Honorable Commissioner, and we're very, very impressed that in less than 24 hours of the entire thing, this child is now enrolled in school, and he's not only enrolled in school, but one of the best schools that we have in the Northeast, because we have seen how productive and how progressive-minded the students of this school are. Some of us have 1 or 2 relatives coming to this school, and we have seen how progressive these kids are and how different they are from their other peers that are outside there.
The Borno State government has pledged to continue to support talented individuals as part of recovery effort for the state after years of Boko Haram insurgency.
Governor Zulum has set aside over 10 billion naira this year for scholarships just for these purposes. And it is our intention to build our citizenry so that we become a hub for innovation and skilled workers in future.
Abakaka's story is a powerful reminder of the transformative impact of creativity and the need to empower more children from underprivileged communities. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
You're watching News Central now. Coming up on the news, funeral of former warlord-turned-politician Prince Yome Johnson draws a large crowd in Liberia. We'll bring you the details shortly. You're welcome back. Thousands gathered in northern Liberia on Saturday to pay their final respects to former warlord-turned-politician Prince Yome Johnson, who passed away without facing trial for his wartime actions. Prince Johnson, a notorious figure during Liberia's brutal civil wars, gained infamy in 1990 when a video showed him present during the torture and murder of then-President Samuel Doe. The civil wars, which lasted from 1989 to 2003, claimed an estimated 250,000 lives and were marked by horrific atrocities, including massacres, mutilations, and the use of child soldiers. A 2009 Truth and Reconciliation Commission report identified Prince Johnson as one of the conflict's most violent perpetrators. Despite his controversial past, Johnson transitioned into politics, becoming an influential senator and playing a pivotal role in Liberia's last 3 presidential elections. Tunisians have rallied in the capital Tunis, demanding the release of opposition leader Abir Moussi, head of the Free Desturian Party. Moussi was arrested on October 3, 2023, outside the Carthage Palace while attempting to deliver a legal request to the Presidential Registry Office. Protester Tamir Saad condemned her detention, stating that it was not worthy of a country that claims to be democratic. Moussi was charged with making statements that allegedly undermine the integrity of the Independent High Authority for Elections following her criticism of the election process, which was ultimately not held. Saad and other protesters argue that Moussi's arrest reflects a broader failure to uphold democratic values in Tunisia.
Vous savez, elle est en prison. L'état physique ne peut pas être un état physique normal pour quelqu'un qui est en prison. Quelqu'un qui ne se nourrit pas bien, quelqu'un qui ne dort pas bien, quelqu'un qui a toutes des difficultés parce qu'elle a des difficultés à l'épaule et au dos. Donc tout cela nous dérange beaucoup, nous inquiète même.
الكل يعرف أنه السجون التونسية أصبحت تمتلئ بضحايا المرسوم 54 من صحفيين وإعلاميين وسياسيين وشباب ومدونين. أصبح هذا المرسوم يعني عبئا ثقيلا على المجتمع التونسي. هي مسيرة مشفوعة بوقفة أمام وزارة المرأة كان قد دعا إليها الحزب الدستوري الحر. يعني هي مسيرة وطنية دعا إليها جميع أطياف المجتمع المدني. الشعارات التي رفعت فيها هي شعارات وطنية تنديدا بالوضع الاقتصادي والوضع الاجتماعي والوضع الإنساني ووضعية.
Thousands have gathered in Washington, D.C. to protest the incoming Trump administration at the People's March. Organizers expect up to 50,000 participants, while police estimate around 25,000 participants. The march comes ahead of the inauguration of President Donald Trump, with final preparations underway due to cold weather. The ceremony has been moved indoors. Trump is scheduled to arrive in D.C. later for a series of events before being sworn in on Monday. The protest and inauguration are drawing significant attention, with tensions surrounding the transition of power. Israeli strikes have rocked northern Gaza a day before a ceasefire is set to begin. A truce, which was approved by Israel's cabinet and brokered by Qatar, will take effect on Sunday morning at 6:30 GMT. Despite the announcement of the ceasefire, Israeli airstrikes in Gaza have continued. On Saturday, at least 5 members of a family were killed in a strike on a tent in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza. Explosions were also reported over Jerusalem, with air raid sirens sounding after a missile was launched from Yemen by Iran-backed Houthi rebels, who said they targeted the Israeli Defense Ministry. The ceasefire deal includes a prisoner exchange with 737 Palestinian prisoners set to be released after 4 p.m. on Sunday. In the meantime, the Israeli far-right minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, has called on allies of the religious Zionism party to take a firm stand against the ceasefire deal. In a video message posted on his Telegram channel, Ben-Gvir noted that it is not too late for the deal to be stopped. He called the deal an irresponsible agreement, claiming that the objectives of the war have not been achieved. This comes as Israel's Security Cabinet approved the Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal that should take effect this weekend. Ben-Gvir had threatened that his party colleagues would quit the cabinet if a deal is approved and if a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal is approved. Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol appeared in court on Saturday to contest investigators' request for an extension of his detention as they continue to probe his failed martial law attempt. Yoon, the first sitting South Korean president to face detention, was arrested on Wednesday during a dawn raid after resisting prior summons. The president, who was impeached shortly after his 3rd of December martial law declaration was overturned by lawmakers, attended a 5-hour hearing. Speaking on behalf of Yoon, his lawyer stated that the president had faithfully explained and answered the allegations, adding that Yoon was hopeful of restoring his honor. Outside the court, thousands of supporters gathered in protest, with some clashing with police. Authorities confirmed the arrest of 16 protesters following the scuffles. Yoon remains in custody as the court deliberates on whether to extend his detention, with a decision expected soon. In business, Kenya's latest Treasury bill auction saw a 78.6% undersubscription, with the government raising 18.9 billion Kenyan shillings against a 24 billion Kenyan shillings target. This marks a significant drop from the previous week's 138.1% oversubscription demand, which was mainly focused on the 364-day paper, which received bids worth 10.03 billion Kenyan shillings, resulted in a 100.3% subscription rate. Yields on all tenors decreased following a 175 basis point rate cut by the Central Bank of Kenya in 2024, with the 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day papers registering average yields of 9.5647%, 10.0299%, and 11.3044% respectively. The Central Bank of Kenya's Policy Committee will meet on the 5th of February 2025. On sports, MC Alger advanced to the CAF Champions League quarterfinals after a goalless draw against Young Africans in Tanzania and secured their second-place finish in Group A with 9 points. The result ended Young Africans' campaign, leaving the Tanzanian champions third with 8 points despite an impressive debut in the group stages. Elsewhere, Tutpisan Mazembe concluded their tournament with a commanding 4-0 win over group leaders Al Hilal in Kinshasa. Jean Diouf, Ibrahima Keita, Mercy Ngembe, and Suleiman Shaibu scored for the Congolese side, delivering their best performance despite already being eliminated. Al Hilal, with 10 points, retained the top spot, joining MC Alger in the knockout stages, while TP Mazembe finished bottom of the group. Crystal Palace have completed the signing of highly rated 19-year-old Romain Esse from Championship side Millwall. Esse, who scored 5 goals in 26 appearances for Millwall this season, joins Palace on a 5.5-year deal. The transfer is reportedly worth £12 million, with the potential to rise to £14.5 million through performance-related add-ons. I beg your pardon. The young forward is seen as a promising prospect for the Premier League club, adding depth and potential to their attacking options. However, Esse was not registered in time to feature in Palace's clash against West Ham on Saturday. That's all on the news at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at the top stories. At least some 3 people have been burnt to death, several injured in Niger tanker explosion. Voter apathy, late arrival of materials of Samuel Doe local government election. We also told you that Tunisians have protested and demanded the release of activist Abir Morsi. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, AVO TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Benga Aboroa.